The wind twists the freshly fallen snow in all directions. The distant howl of a wolf echoes through the snow-covered pine forest through which the road winds. It's a fairly well-travelled road, its snowy skin marked with old tracks, now rapidly filling in with fresh snow. The edges of the road piled with drifts from the wind. Out of the storm, a coach appears, drawn by two smallish horses. Luggage attached firmly to the roof. A half-orc driver is hunched over the reins, wrapped up against the elements, and lashing the steeds to further endeavour with his whip. The wooden-panelled interior of the coach cabin is lit by a single, rather small oil lamp swaying rhythmically from the ceiling as the coach lurches along the road. The 6 inhabitants of the carriage sit awkwardly close to each other. On the 2 opposite cushioned benches, all of them are asleep. The coach jolts from impact with a pothole in the road. The travellers are woken from their slumbers, and in the dimly lit carriage they look around, making eye contact, acknowledging those they recognise from earlier in the journey, whilst recent additions are eyed with a mixture of suspicion and limited anticipation. On one of the seats closest to the door sits an unassuming human male. His clothes are simple, common even, and yet he carries an air of confidence. His face moves as if leaving behind a deep thought or considerance. A wry smile forms on his lips as he looks around the carriage and speaks. Christy, would you please introduce yourself and describe your character?
The monk, shoddily dressed, well-worn, well-travelled. He carries an air of power about him, extremely fit and strong and athletic. He's on a search, as I'm sure most people are, for... well, you'll find out what he's searching for, I'm sure. However, he's well-travelled, travels from place to place, and with him he carries staff, the bow staff, and a long flute is carried at his side as well. He's travelling north in this carriage. That's all you need to know about him. He's fairly suspicious, and just looks around.
And what's your name?
My name is Low Fat.
I like it. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Christy. Sat next to Low Fat are a pair of Dragonborn. The first yawns, his jaws opening wide to display clean, white, pointed teeth. He casually picks at a fang before raising what can only be described as an eyebrow. I can't do the Brookes eyebrow. And slowly begins to speak. Adam, Shadowhand, would you please introduce yourself and describe your character?
Dracalis casually glares the carriage. A fighter, dressed in his chainmail, just as where his with a small puff of flame goes back to snooze. But as all sleeping dragons, fully aware of what's around them.
And what's your name?
Dracalis.
Dracalis. Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you, Adam. The second Dragonborn's eyes feverishly dart about him, taking in everything and everyone. His laugh rings out for absolutely no reason. Clearly, this Dragonborn is unhinged. But he doesn't appear immediately dangerous. In fact, he can't stop smiling at everybody. And for some bizarre reason, the other passengers are starting to smile back. He breaks his smile. He breaks his silence and speaks. John, would you like to introduce yourself and describe your character?
My name is Nuke Dukem. I was formerly Simon McDragonface, a shy but kind dragonborn of royal lineage, an extremely peaceful race. The castle was besieged by an evil mage who wanted to harvest dragonborn for the potential healing properties of their teeth. As per most enamel-based hunting, the teeth are actually completely useless, but they sell for quite a lot. Simon escaped, but was chased by the mage. As the mage cast a killer spell at Simon, it hit a magical element crystal that caused a rift in the space-time continuum and sucked Simon into 1991 in the UK. Ploughing into a house, the unconscious Simon lost his memory and landed in front of a child playing the video game Duke Nukem. By the time he came to, Simon had taken on all the characteristics of Duke Nukem, but his disorientation reversed his name. He travelled back through the portal, not as a shy and kind dragonborn, but as a weapon-loving, potty-mouth-toting lunatic. The mage didn't know what hit him upon his return. Duke Nukem now wanders the world as a slightly misogynistic, babe-loving, world-protecting hero, whether the world wants him or not.
Well done. Brilliant. Brilliant.
Not protecting the gun.
Love it. Absolutely. I mean, I should really have put you at the end, to be honest.
Hang on.
It's time to kick
right.
ass and chew bubble gum. All out of go.
Now I get why he wanted that.
Yeah.
It's worth the wait.
It all makes sense. Oh dear. Sat in the corner furthest from the carriage door, his chainmail dully reflecting the lamplight under his shirt. The lamplight's not under his shirt, the chainmail's under his shirt. The lamplight's external to his shirt. Terrible grammar. Sits a stern-looking dwarf. He eyes the rest of the travellers with disdain, looking down his nose at them, unsure what to make of them yet. He speaks. Scott, please introduce yourself. Describe your character.
I will warn you, my accent will change dramatically, repeatedly.
You go.
So, Kyber Grimson, dwarf, exiled from his people. What accent is it?
I
Aberdeen.
think you're in Irish. You're in Irish at the moment.
It should be Yorkshire, so it's a bit funny.
I've got split personality to be fine.
Mr. Water, that's fine. No, okay. There you go.
I spent a long time now living in a cave. Quite happy, but suffering PTSD from all the nightmares he saw in a cave one day. Long story, won't go into it. He is a paladin. He discovered his abilities while saving a gnome that was getting chased through his forest. From that gnome, he listened to many tales of what he was doing. Essentially, he was bounty hunting, he was going for monsters, he was getting money, he was killing evil, and that set him off, essentially. And he felt a burning desire to go out into the world, haunted by what had happened to him in a mine. Long story. He decided that there wasn't just evil under his mountain, there was evil out in the world, and he was going to go find it, and he was going to stop it, and he might get paid. Kyber Grimson.
Thank you, Scott. That was brilliant. Cheers, mate. That was really good. Next to Kyber, and by the way, this is now completely ad-libbed because Neil, I don't have any details of Neil, so I'm really sorry, Neil, if this is bullshit. But
that's fine. Yeah, things can change.
Have you seen his name?
Sat next to Kyber, a man dressed in martial arts attire sits serenely in the corner of the cabin, staring into the distance, confident look on his face. He looks at the rest of the cabin smugly and speaks. Neil, would you like to introduce your character and describe yourself?
Yep. So my character is Spar Af Asleeson, and he is an elven monk. He is a high elf, so he is looking at all of you, thinking that you are all, not as good as him, because you're not, clearly. But something has happened to him throughout his long life, something traumatic. And he has hidden himself away in a monastery. And he now studies the arts of healing and of death. And you're never sure which one he's going to do.
He's a conflicted individual.
No, can't speak for anybody else, but I certainly know one way that I'm definitely better than him. Give you a clue, it's math.
Yeah, and that is my character.
Excellent, thank you, Neil. Thank you. A loud snore draws your attention. It seems one more soul occupies the carriage with you, crammed into the far corner of the cabin, wrapped head to foot, almost completely covered in thick winter furs. Sleeps a dwarf. Only his eyes and the bridge of his nose are visible beneath the animal skins. He snores again loudly and seems to be shivering. Party, what would you like to do?
Can I go up to him and just poke him with the end of me?
You're all sat in the cabin, crammed together. So you're all within about 2 foot of each other.
Take the hammer first.
You currently also none of you have any of your weapons. Your warhammer is in the luggage on the back of the
Damn it.
Does anyone want me to punch him?
You would be the one to do it, yes.
Not saying that's my answer to everything, but it pretty much is my answer to everything.
I mean, you can all do different things. You don't all have to agree on the same thing. You can all decide on something different to do. You don't have to come to consensus. As long as you're discussing it together and you're sort of all working in concord, I think that's okay. But you all are individuals to this.
Just a suggestion. What if we tied his shoelaces together and then woke him up? And then if he got aggressive, he'll fall over and then we can just kick him.
I mean, we can let John try and tie his shoelaces together if she wants.
Does anyone know the dwarf?
No one in the cabin knows the dwarf.
No, I know none of you.
Dwarf in the corner starts stirring, shivering violently and snoring louder and louder. It's shaking around.
I'll give her a kick. I'm trying to sleep.
Give the. You want to give the dwarf in the corner a kick. Excellent. Would you make a dexterity check for me, please?
So where am I doing that? Sorry.
You need to roll a d20 and give me the
I've got the roll 20 up. Where do I use on that?
I don't care.
Yours is plus 2.
Okay.
So
Roll D20 plus 2.
Hang on, let me just do a Google Dice then. 2 seconds.
If you log into D&D Beyond, it'll let you roll dice on your character sheet.
Okay, 14.
14.
Do I need to add something as well to it?
You're
very
plus
quickly?
2.
Plus 2, yeah, so 14 plus 2.
So you get a 16. Excellent.
Yeah.
You lash your foot out at the dwarf sleeping in the corner and kick him squarely in the shin. Wakes up with a start, staring at you angrily.
A glance at Duke, as if to blame him.
The dwarf looks around. Make a performance check, please.
What do I do on that one then? Sorry.
So
Roll
you need to
D20.
roll a d20 against your charisma.
-1.
Oh, that's 6 minus. Oh, sorry, 6 plus 2.
-1.
Minus
You
1,
are.
is it?
5.
5, yeah.
5. The dwarf sees clearly through your deception and stares squarely at you, knowing that you kicked him. What the f*** are you doing?
Trying to sleep.
Trying to sleep, for f***'s sake. Leave me alone.
So am I.
Yeah, well, I'm not feeling very well. sorry. I don't like being woken up. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Just let me sleep. He
What's wrong, Dwarf?
shivers violently, and wraps himself deeper into his furs. And I'm sorry. I'll try and be quiet.
What's wrong, Dwarf?
Sorry, Chris. Sorry,
Wrong,
Lofat.
Dwarf.
What's wrong?
Dwarf. Yeah. What's wrong?
I'm heading back to Palebank Village from Skagdarren. The village priests in Palebank, both Corellan and Moradin, failed to sort me out. I don't feel good. I don't feel very good. I had no choice. I had to make the journey. I needed to see the cleric there, but
Better not be contagious.
wraps himself up and curls himself back into the corner of the cabin.
I nudge further and further away from him.
I pull my cloak slightly further up against it.
Better not be COVID.
He's not coughing and he doesn't have a temperature. But he has lost his sense of taste. Hence the what would you like to do, guys?
Sod it. I'm gonna pick him up and chuck him out the back of the car.
You're going to pick him up and chuck him out the back of the coach.
We might be infectious.
Excellent. Absolutely. Well, why don't you have a go at that and roll a strength check? So
Cool.
what you're going to need to do for that is roll a d20 and give me the result.
Oh, where's Discord gone?
We're going to be doing athletics. Yeah, athletics.
I've rolled a 20.
You rolled a 20. Excellent. You managed to reach across the other members in the cabin and grab the dwarf. He wriggles in your grasp. You turn around as if to look towards the window,
I open the door.
realizing that the door has now been opened for you. As you turn around and try and drag the dwarf across the table, he elbows you sharply in the face, and the coach hits a pothole in the road. You bounce, and the dwarf leaves your grasp and lands on the floor, grumbling loudly and trying to cover himself with his cloak. The wind hurls through the door, chilling the cabin, and you all take 1 point of damage. Don't
The door
my
then.
fucking story.
Close the door.
Close the door. Excellent. That's a wise choice. It's fucking cold and windy.
Hey, the driver.
I remind you, we don't have a healer. We don't have a healer.
I got a selfie. I'm good.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
On to level 2. Damn it.
Dwarf climbs himself back into his chair. He's clearly angry, but he doesn't. He doesn't seem. He seems more apologetic that he's there. He's sorry that he's in your way. He's not. No one likes being someone trying to throw them out of a window, but he's clearly not well. This man is sick. He crawls back into his chair and climbs back into the corner and mumbles to himself, "You guys, you don't understand. You don't understand." Shivering.
What do we understand?
You don't want to know. It's 2 months ago. I came home. I've been exploring. I'm an archaeologist. I've been exploring the ruins of Iselcross. I've been there over a year. I'd only been back about a month. I started coming down with this strange affliction, this disease. Started feeling really slow in my mind and body. And cold. So fucking cold. I couldn't walk as fast. And these damn blue veins started appearing all over my fucking body.
Nudge back even further.
You see as he pulls down his furs, you see his whole skin is covered in fine, minuscule, bright blue veins, networking like a spider's web across the whole of his body. And he moves stutteringly as he does it. It's like his hands are frozen solid, but he's struggling to make anything move.
So are you looking for a cure?
Yeah, I've been to see the cleric. He can't help me. I'm going home now. I just want to see my family. I know I'm gonna die. I can feel it coming now. I know this is the end for me. I just want to see my family one more time before I die. I want to die in my own house. So I'm just going home. He tails off, muttering to himself, and turns back into his furs.
Were you the only one? Only one from the dig that got sick?
Several things happen all at once. As you speak, Kiba, you're suddenly all thrown from your seats into the air as the coach lurches in all directions violently. There's a deafening crash, and the sound of splintering wood. A sudden, blood-curdling scream rises in crescendo and is abruptly cut off. Now, I've been practicing this. Ah! The coach lurches violently once more and bounces into the air as the screams cut off and comes to a rest. A soft, yellowish light floods in from the only window in the coach. What would you like to do?
So bloody hell, what was that? And go look at the window.
You look out of the window and you see the source of the light. It's an old steel gas-lit lamppost standing at a crossroads where the coach has come to rest. The snow's falling. It seems undisturbed on the ground outside. It looks peaceful. You see nothing else, nothing apparent from the window.
Not to see the driver still there.
There is no answer.
Right, who's going out first?
I'll take a
Well,
look.
I'll go up.
Neil can jump out.
Yeah. I'll open the door and peer out,
Peer out, yeah.
see what I can see.
The storm seems to have passed its worst.
Right.
It's still snowing. There's still enormous, soft snowflakes falling gently to the ground now.
So we're not going to take damage if we get out now.
No, it's peaceful. It's serene.
That only happens if you try and throw a dwarf out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, just to reiterate,
Because
that
nobody
only-
tosses a dwarf.
That only
Nobody does it, dwarf. No.
that only happens if you with my story.
Which guy says I take to the monk, out the way, I'm going out. And I go outside and have a look.
I'm stepping outside as well.
Are you all stepping outside of the coach?
Yeah, I'm gonna go
get my weapon.
Where?
You're gonna go and get your weapon. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Can you make a note of the fact that you've done that, please?
Mm.
As you walk out of the coach, the metallic smell of freshly spilt blood fills your nostrils.
Where's the
Goes around
dwarf?
as well.
The dwarf's still in the cabin. He's sat in there as you leave. Thank you, John, for reminding me of this. As you leave, he looks at you desperately. Please find out what the f***'s going on, guys. I need to get home. I want to see my family. Please go and find out what the f***'s up. We need to get back to Palmac, please. As you leave the coach, a lone oil lamp stands vigil at the crossroads, gently illuminating a four-way signpost and creating a soft circle of light in the apparent infinite darkness of the forest beyond. You hear more wolves howling back and forth as region. The horses stamp and snort, nervous and upset.
Is it too late for me to grab my weapons?
No, it's absolutely fine. Go and get your weapons if you want them.
Lovely.
Grab our weapons.
I'm
Yeah.
just going to inch out the door and just deftly jump up onto the roof, sliding my bow staff out with me.
Excellent. Okay. So have you all gone and retrieved your weapons?
Yes.
Okay, so you're all
I'll
now
throw
armed.
anything down to anyone that wants it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Christy climbs up onto the top of the cabin, starts handing out weapons to people who haven't yet managed to reach in and grab their own. You all look a little more secure in yourselves now that you're holding steel and staff in your hands. As you look around, it becomes really clear that one of the four wheels of the coach has completely fallen off, and the driver's nowhere to be seen. You see splatters of blood in the snow around the coach, up the horse's hooves and legs, and trailing back under the wheels of the coach. For 20 or so feet behind the coach, the blood is gouged into the ground, into the trails of the wheels of the coach. Broken bone, severed hand, bodily fluids. The trail ends with the twisted, shattered corpse of the coach driver, steam rising from his broken body as the cold starts to take effect.
I didn't like him anyway.
The wolves. The wolves.
At least he went quickly.
The wolves sound closer now.
Alright.
Let's get this wheel back on the carriage.
As you walk over to the wheel to look down at it, which you find lying conveniently close in a drift of snow, by the way. Two figures stride into the lamplight from the forest. You sense and see the glint of steel arrowheads directly pointed at you. The call, "Stand and deliver, gentlemen," rings out. A human, dressed in winter forest attire, he stands confidently, unfazed by your superior numbers. His attitude seems almost dismissive. Hood still raised. He speaks again. James, would you please introduce your character?
Okay, so he comes out from the swirling snow and the nearby trees. Looks a little bit wild, but kind of, it looks like he's been living in the wilds a bit, but you can tell that his leather armor is still in good condition and the bow that he's holding. So the detail suggests that he is with it, although he does look a bit of a wild man. He moves towards, slowly sort of flanking along, strafing along to the side, keeping his arrow nocked and aimed at everyone. He's looking pretty cool. He's got a good bearing. He's in his winter gear. He's pretty well set up for this situation. He's tooled up. He's got little grass kind of fetishes, tiny little dolls made of grass and leaves sort of tokens tied to all his armor and everything. Hold on 2 seconds before he speaks. Hold on.
Pause for effect.
Clearly,
And takes him away.
clearly, his voice is in his head as well.
Yes, yes.
So he's got the arrowhead aimed at the party as it is. He says, "Everybody stay cool. This is a robbery. Move. I'll execute every motherfucking last one of you."
Love it. Love it. Fucking love it. Thank you, James.
6 of us.
Human's smaller companion hefts his crossbow and tilts his head sideways, almost tempting you to try something. The Arakakora, fucking Adam, you bastard, ruffled his feathers.
You're welcome.
and
No, you said it
stretched-
first. I've got no idea how to say that word.
Took
Birdman.
me an hour and a half of practice this afternoon. Ruffles his feathers and stretches his wings threateningly. His bright orange and green plumage seems alien in the monochrome world currently surrounding him. This is payback, by the way. A distinctive squawk to his voice. His beak breaks open and he speaks. Adam, would you please introduce yourself and describe your character?
Okay, cool. I mean, I'll start with. I mean, the only time I'll do that. Yes, so I am, and see, I would read it as Arakokra, but I don't know.
That's fine.
I don't know how you say it.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Aracockerel.
Yeah,
An Arakockerel. He's a
Yeah.
birdman, John. He's a
Birdman.
He's a 4 foot tall birdman. Sorry.
So yeah, he is a small bird-like kind of humanoid. He's sort of fast moving, kind of very alien. Hard to sort of understand what's going on in its head. It's very sort of sharp-eyed. Got a sort of hunted look to it. Sharp claws, quick movements, capable of a small amount of flight. So it kind of will fly sort of threateningly over your heads and kind of land directly behind you, blocking your route of escape. And it will kind of utter a shrill bird-like call.
That sounds like.
Caw-caw! It's the only one I can do, really. And then it will say in English what he said.
Okay, I stand
and
up on top of the.
Sorry, Christy. James and Adam, what are your characters' names? Sorry.
Sorry, mine is called Willard Griff.
And mine is Dozaran.
Excellent, thank you. Christy, sorry, carry on.
I'm on top of the carriage. I stand up. 2 of you, 5 of us.
I
and a pack
sniff
of
the air.
wolves. A pack of wolves on the road. There's no conflict here. We're on our way.
You shut your dirty, stinking mouth. Can I fire an arrow at his
I'm gonna
bow?
get medieval on.
You can fire an arrow at his bow if you want. His bow staff, is it? The bow
Yes.
staff.
Yeah, both stuff. Yeah.
You can fire an arrow at his bow staff. Would you like to take? Let's do a straight up dexterity check. I think
There's a D20, yeah?
it is. Yes.
And I add my dexterity bonus.
You add your dexterity
And proficiency.
bonus.
And proficiency?
If
Yeah.
you have a proficiency in the bow, then yes, you have a score for that. Let's see what.
I do in my,
Yeah.
I'll roll it. Ooh, I got a 10. Plus,
10.
is that plus
So-
5, 3 for my dexterity and 2
I think we add your proficiency bonus to your weapon skill, which is plus.
Yes,
Plus
so it's at 5. So
Yeah.
whatever you roll,
That's it.
plus 5.
So 15.
Your arrow leaves your bow and flies true and straight, slamming into the bow staff of Low Fat. He looks down at it raises his eyes back to you.
Mark, can I go and pick the dwarf up from inside of the cabin?
No, John, you can't.
I'm
If
also
you-
knocking
you
another
move-
arrow at this point. I'm knocking another arrow.
You are currently looking at taking lethal damage from 2 highwaymen who are pointing bows at you. If you move in a way that is not what they would want you to do, you can assume that you will be dead.
Right. Can I
This is not a time for violence, gentlemen. This is a time for negotiation.
I just want to point my hammer at them.
Yep.
Holding my shield up and go, I had business in Palebank. Don't make my business here. Put your bow down. And see what happens. Or was that intimidation?
You can do. We could use this to do an intimidation competition if you want to.
I will
you
happily do
can, you can roll intimidation, and who are you pointing your hammer at? Adam or James? Oh, sorry, Dorzaran or Willard.
I'm going to go at Dorzaran.
Dorzaran, excellent. So, what you need to do is roll for an intimidation check, which
Yes.
you will get on a.
10.
What did you roll? What did you roll? Sorry.
10.
You rolled a 10. You have +4 to intimidation.
That is including that +4, so that's 10.
Oh, that's rolling before.
So glad my first roll was cracking.
It was a beautiful.
Even with +4, I still managed to get.
Beautiful.
Could be worse. I had 20 and I still couldn't throw a dwarf out the back of a cart.
Ended up damaging everyone.
We are quite rolled on for our like.
Adam, would you make a perception check, please?
Perception check. Okay, cool. Is that on a D20? Yeah.
Yeah. You need to beat 10.
Okay, I rolled a 6, so probably not.
Your perception. You got +4 on your perception.
No, you draw. You both.
Oh, cool.
Keeper points his hammer at you, and you look back. Unsure as to what his intentions are. You have a crossbow pointed directly at his face. You tilt your head towards him and shrug.
Gentlemen, we just want your gold. No, there doesn't have to be any violence here.
I don't think we really have any gold. I mean, I spent most of mine on the, on the trip, which is, quite expensive. Have you?
Last 10 years in the cave.
Have you ever
no gold?
Have you ever tried TUI carriage travel? It's quite expensive.
There's other stuff you have. We could sell that for gold. Anything you've got of value, you can put it down. And
Oh, I have something of value, but you'll have to price it out of my trousers.
There's a corpse up the road of the wagon driver. Why don't you see what he's got on him? You're welcome to his possessions.
kind of flanking round, trying to get a better view of back down the road, and I see the sort of bloody trail of mashed up coach driver bits, and I start kind of looking a bit like, oh, this is a lot messier than I'd anticipated.
Can I check
I'm not shocked by the violence, but I suddenly realise that I've maybe walked into a bit more than I thought.
Can I check the dwarf for gold?
Which dwarf?
The dwarf in the cabin who's a bit sick. It's not like he's got any use for it anyway.
I mean, you could do that, but doing
ask
it right
him.
now, I mean, doing it right now is probably going to result in an arrow in your face. So you're still being held hostage. So yes, that's something you could do, but right now it's sort of, if you move, you're going to be shot and you're going to die.
Can I bang my hammer on my shield?
You
Can I,
can.
Can I sniff the air and have a look around, see if there's any more of them? Or
You
is it
can,
just these two?
you can roll for a perception check.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a good one. Is it? I decided I don't like D&D well. 5 plus 3. So no, 5 plus 3.
I got 8.
You get an 8. You sniff the air and the smell of the coach driver's blood fills your nostrils. You can't pick anybody out, never mind the people you can't see. You've got no idea if there's anybody else lurking in the woods or not.
So at this point, I'm going to make a strange bird-like call. It's the only kind of call I can do, really. And a couple of...
you need to do it.
Okay. One of the other ones. And this summons a couple of wolves out of the forest to a kind of...
Oh,
my mate.
Well, no, you can't. You see, that isn't...
That's D1 damage, right?
That's,
Can I do that?
That's not really something that you can do because you don't have any skill that allows you to do that on your character sheet at the moment. So there's no way you could actually do that within the remit of the rules of the world, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Basically, you're a level 1 character who's got a crossbow, and
yeah, I'm trying to call the wolves to us as well. Just didn't.
I mean, it was worth a go, right?
And unfortunately, what happens when you make your core is that there's a deep
1 damage.
1 damage. There's a deep.
The dwarf goes flying out the back of the car.
As you make your call, there's a deep, meaningful growl from the darkness to the south. Shadows move at the edge of your vision, and 3 pairs of feral eyes reflect the lamplight before the shadows solidify. 2 young wolves slink forwards, flanking a much larger beast.
So it worked, right?
It totally worked. Quite how you wanted it to.
No.
I'm edging back around the coach, still keeping my arrow on everyone, away from these few creatures that have just come out. But I'm saying,
are they behind us or in front of us?
They're to the south, so they are behind you guys at the coach, and they are in front of the two robbers who are facing towards them. So they're on the opposite side of the coach to you, but the robbers can see them approaching. So there's 2 small wolves have come out of the darkness, flanking a much larger beast. This gigantic.
Are they with you?
Yeah, they're with me.
I gotta be honest with you guys. I don't fancy yours much.
The gigantic snow white wolf in the middle is as big as one of the horses pulling the carriage. Its eyes burn like the fiery pits of some best forgotten hell. A thick coat of pure white fur, crowned by a row of lethal spikes running the length of its spine. The dire wolf throws its head back and lets out a deafening roar. Gentlemen, would you please all roll for initiative?
Can these misfits band together to defeat the triple threat menace? What has Nuke Dukem got against that dwarf? Is it true Brian Adams was meant to be in the team? Find out the answer to at least one of these questions in part 2 of Route D66, Epic Adventure, Frozen Sick.